All right. Well, so our our little trip with me and my parents to the usual Bigfoot spot I go to up here in Oklahoma. Um, it went pretty well. The first night, um, I heard some stuff coming up over the mountains. And it was just me there at that time. My parents came the next day, but I heard maybe three or four of them coming up over the mountains. Um, and it was just the typical kind of Bigfoot calls you hear. Um, it's hard to imitate, but yeah, they came up over the mountain, and then nothing for the rest of the night. The next morning, my parents arrived, and we went and checked some game cameras I had set up. Uh, and as usual, I don't think we caught anything. I don't think I caught anything on them. Um, there may be a deer or something on them, but there's like at least an hour of footage on those, and they're like 20 seconds each. So I'll have to run through that stuff. Um, that day, I went and let's see. I took my parents to see the tree structure, and they were pretty impressed with that. Because I mean, it is impressive, just the way things are, you know, uh, positioned and stuff. It's made of multiple different trees, and there's no way it could have fallen down like that. It's pretty old too, um, so it's starting to rot away a lot. Uh, and then that night, um, my parents, they had this little old folks bus that they cart old people around in. They converted it into like a camper kind of deal, and they have some external lights on it, floodlights that they kept on for almost the entire night. I finally got them to turn those things off, but inside they had a light that was just a little tiny phone charger, and it was casting this massive blue light coming out of there. It was almost as bad as a flashlight. Um, but they didn't do anything about that, but that's okay. We were kind of loud that night too, but the thing is the wind was blowing through the trees real hard and blocking out most of the sound, and so we couldn't have really heard much of anything anyways. But later that night, at about 4 to 4:30 in the morning, all the wind had died down quite a bit, and I heard a tree crash. Something had knocked over a tree, because at that time there wasn't any kind of wind blowing or anything. And then about 15 minutes later, I hear a call, um, and so I texted my parents. I'm like, hey, if y'all are real quiet, come out here and listen to this. You may hear something, but they didn't. So they didn't hear anything. They came out, but they didn't hear anything. So yeah, later, I don't know how that wind is going to sound on this video. Later, they we all went to bed, and the next morning, me and Mom walked around, did some hiking, and took some pictures and stuff and everything, and all that stuff. And then later that night, we did hear something. It started probably around 8 p.m. We heard some calls coming out, As, and the best I can imitate it, and I'll put it in a video. Best I can imitate it, because I actually did record it, was like whoop, 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 and it would do that, but it sounded a lot deeper. It sounded like a much bigger animal, and it did that 3 times. But there was quite a bit of a pause between all 3 of the times that it did that call. But it sounded like it was coming over close to where I had some of the game cameras I had set up that I took down. Obviously, they would, be going over there at that time. And it came up and came up and around some, and then later that night, well, actually, let's see, it was probably, gosh, I went to bed early, so I woke up really early. Maybe it was 2 a.m. or so. I heard what sounded like somebody just going right there by my tent. I had a camera set up there, didn't catch it. Might have caught it on my audio recording device, but yeah. Then later that night, probably close to 5 a.m. I say night, that's morning. Close to 5 a.m. It's still dark. I heard a typical kind of Bigfoot sound happening down the way a little ways, and that was about it. So the next time I do an investigation, since we can't find prints really over in that area that we're at usually, since we usually you can't find any kind of prints because the ground is just mulch and leaves and leaf litter and stuff. I'm probably going to come out to this new place here. This place right here, honestly, I think it's prettier than the other one. It's also deeper into the woods too. I don't know how much activity there is over here, but there are muddier areas. Just on this bridge alone, there's mud that can pick up my shoe prints. So, excuse me. So yeah, I'm gonna come out to this place and spend a night and a day out here, hike some of the trails and stuff, and then I'll go over to the other place and do the same, for the next investigation I do. But I really like this area over here. I wish there was something like this, as beautiful and as secluded as this over there where I live. There's probably some place out there, I just don't know about it. But there's more diversity in vegetation, as well as wildlife and stuff over here. Oh, and I saw a black panther crossing the road this morning. Weird. Anyways, I've had a great time out here so far, and I'll come out here again. But yeah, that's it.